Hello, everyone. Welcome to Your World or Mine. Show me yours and I'll show you mine. And today we have Jin here from Malaysia. And as an alien from another planet, Jin, I'm really fascinated about what is currently happening in your world. It's my first visit here and I'm fascinated. So, can you tell us what your world is like?
Okay, my work is very amazing. Okay, because you can see a lots of people coming from different backgrounds. Okay, with different culture, languages, and they have their own different life experiences. Okay, so it is a real diverse on earth. Okay.
So that raises immediate question with me. Do these different people from different cultures doing things in different ways get along?
Uh, well, yes, they do, but sometimes there are a few conflicts, okay, that you are seeing now, okay. There is a Syrian civil war, okay. We just hope that the world will just help those refugees, okay, but at the same time, we learn a lot from each other, okay, about their culture, okay, their languages and their traditional custom, just to wipe off those unwanted conflicts so that history will never repeat it again, okay. And at the same time, we learn about tolerance of people from diverse background, okay. And I think it is very important, okay, for people to learn about each other, okay. After all, life is all about learning, okay.
That's wonderful. And we on my planet we do the same. We learn from each other. We also have very diverse beings on our planet. They have different ideas. They come from different places and different galaxies. But what's the interesting part for me is that because there's this big differences, this diversity, we can learn so much from each other. Imagine we were all the same, just duplicates of each other. I believe there's about 8 million people on Earth. Is that about true?
Yes.
So imagine that. For me, that's fascinating. So just imagine that for a moment. 8 billion different humans having different thoughts every moment, having different ideas because they perceive reality differently in our understanding that everybody perceives their reality very differently. Even where you are in Malaysia, there's other young people and other people who maybe experience life very differently than you. And that's okay. It's not bad. It's not a bad thing. But imagine what we can then learn from each other. It's just so much more uh, versatility. We can learn so many different skills in that way from each other
Yeah.
and ways how to live together and to be together and do things together. So for us, that's fascinating. So, what is your passions for life? What are you passionate about in life?
Okay. That's a very interesting question. I think my passion in life would be like hmm, traveling,
Mm-hmm.
traveling and reading books. Okay. And what I mean that traveling like would allow me, okay, to broaden my horizon with people from other cultures. Okay. At the same time, I can experience more about life because life is about like a journey, okay, so that you need to learn for life, especially meeting up with new people, okay, because that's where you are learning. And I think that this type of skills, like, okay, young people should really learn about it because, and you see, we always mix around, okay, at the same time, if you go travel, okay, you can meet a lot of people, okay, even those like very remote regions, okay. And I think that's my passion, okay, because I want to meet new cultures. At the same time, reading books, okay, allows me to learn more new vocabulary, especially the latest trend in business entrepreneurship. At the same time, those skills, right, okay, could allow me to become more abstract, thinker because I think that we are living in a very complex society nowadays. Okay, so we need to be a little bit abstract at the same time. We need to be a real generalist too. Okay.
That's interesting what you mentioned. And there's two things I want to share with you that just comes up while you're sharing that. Now, the first thing on my planet, now on Earth, I believe when people meet you, they first ask you who you are, what's your name, then you'll say, what's your name? And then the first thing they will ask you is, what do you do? And for us, that question is almost impossible to answer because we can do anything which we
Yeah.
like. So what we do, people then associate it with the way they make a living, like what do they do? You talk about business, entrepreneurship, and things like that. So then they explain a role. They would say, I'm a doctor or I'm a physicist. And for us, you are much more than that. That's something that you chose to do to express your beautiful gifts through. And tomorrow you can learn something new. Like you say, you can learn every day. You can learn new things. And you can, this cross of things that you can learn. So it's not just one thing that you will, in the past, people were like, they were not generalists. Use the word generalist. They were not generalists. They were specialists. They focused on one thing and this one thing only. And they didn't know anything about anything else. And they were not interested about it. And that's okay. But that time, it seems on Earth is over. That technology and communications and the internet has allowed us now like this. You on a very different location than me, and we can speak like this. This is wonderful. So we can broaden our perspectives. And yes, the travel that you say as well, and the reading and learning about new things as well. But for us, there's a trap by the way that humans refer to themselves. This way of defining themselves with a role or with a discipline. Like I'm a doctor, I'm in medicine, I'm in health. Because you're about so much more. Every moment that you breathe, that you're just here on Earth, you influence everybody else around you, especially on social media these days. Everything we say there impacts everybody else that's actually reading it. So we have a bigger influence these days because of technology and the internet. But it's also giving us so much more opportunities to explore different things, like you say, like getting to meet new people, to really deep listening to what are their worlds like, what are they about, what makes them, what are their passions, and then how to see how do we find each other, like-minded ones and like-hearted ones who have the same passions from their hearts, that we can meet each other and get to know each other. But if we stay in our little room, we will never be able to experience more. So we actually have to get out of there. Like you say, and there's many ways of doing that. We can use technology for that. And like you say, we can travel and we can just start talking to different people as well. Because at the same time, we learn from each other, both sides. But I'm fascinated about one thing, and I really want, for my people on my planet, it's purpose. I want to discuss this a little bit with you, explore it a little bit. This thing about business and entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Now, maybe I can just first put the context for you where I come from.
Okay.
So we've been looking at what's happening on Earth through many years, like 3 decades, in the business world. So from school in the business world, what happens with people, with humans, and when they begin to make a life for themselves. And these days, you use the word entrepreneurship. But 30 years ago, there was the same thing. It was just called something else. It was called sole proprietorship. It was the same thing. It means you're by yourself. You didn't go into the corporate world. And you yourself had a vision, a passion, an aspiration. But those days, it was merely skills-based. So if I had a passion for plumbing, I became a plumber. To work with water, but it's a skill, to do plumbing. I can't do plumbing, and I'm sure you're also not even interested in doing plumbing. And that's okay. There's many other people who want to do that. But what we see is that you use the same thing, but you call it another name. So what would you say? What is an entrepreneur in your perspective, your experience?
Okay. For me, I used to work 9 to 5 in a law office job at the heart of Colombo. I don't really enjoy it because I just realized that it wasn't really meant for me. Okay, and it's a little bit frustrated when you're out of job for the last 1.5 to 2 years. So I just realized that why not I just start out on my own, like being a freelance tutor. So this is how I ended up being a freelance tutor. I don't have any experience being a tutor, but I just pick it up, okay, as I move on, okay, and I learned everything from YouTube. Okay, yes, it is true that in the past everything was very skills based. Now we can just jump on it. For me personally, like entrepreneurship, okay, you have to ask yourself one thing, that what is your passion all about? Are you going to make someone's life feel better, or you wanted to make tons of money? Okay, like Facebook incorporation, okay. But for my personal view, right, okay, entrepreneurship, okay, it is all about like your life experience, okay. At the same time, we are solving people's problems, okay. And most people never realize that, okay, starting a own business not that easy, because you will need to do a lot of analysis and your capital, okay. Even some investor would just ask what is your ROI. But for me personally, okay, entrepreneurship is all about you make feel good in people's life as well as you change a person's life. That's what I mean for entrepreneurship, okay.
That's wonderful. Because for us, and for us, it's quite alarming that people are just using the same thing, because whether you work in a business, in a corporate structure where you earn a salary, or and you do a functional job or a technical job where you fulfill a role, and whether you just run a business by yourself, for us, that's not much of a difference. But what you talk about is something different. So I think we need a new name for that, because you know, if you go and look at the entrepreneur schools in the world, and we've done some research on that, the first thing they teach people is how to run a business. The passion thing that
Yeah,
the thing you're completely divorced from your passion, removed from it. It's so far away from your experience that's why we don't believe in something like that. Because for us, we want to help people, young people, older people, whoever, young people specifically, to discover this passion, because in our experience, not a lot of young people know what their passions even are. They don't know what it is, because they've been through the mill, through school, through education, and through higher
yeah,
education. They get a degree or something, and some not. The diploma doesn't matter what qualification. And then they don't know what to do with their lives. But they've never had the opportunity to discover what's their passion. And for us, a passion is something within yourself. It's not something that I can teach you. I can't tell you what's your passion. It's impossible. So teaching you what's your passion cannot work at all, because your passion is something that comes from within you. You were born with that passion, and you developing that passion as you're making it bigger and stronger, and you're expressing it in different ways throughout your life, through your relationships, through the way you make a life for yourself, and the way you want to make a difference in the world. So for us, I cannot teach you that, but I can help you with processes that you can discover it within yourself, that you can discover it. So it's not I'm telling you. But you see, now that's very interesting, because for us it's very simple to even logically look at it. And maybe I must use this pen. So here's my passion. Okay. And maybe I must use, let me just get something, another pen. So this is my passion. Here's a business. How do I get these two to come together? Which one is first?
passion
Passion,
came
exactly.
first.
The
Yeah,
passion comes first. So we must first have that self-knowledge. We must first go into a process to discover this passion. And what are the possibilities, or how can I express this passion? Like, how can I make a difference in the world? Now, you said your passion is travel and reading. And then you speak about tutorship, which is beautiful as well, because you're teaching somebody something, you're helping them. You may improving their lives. You make their learning process easier. For example, their studying process. But even for us, studying and learning is two different things. I'll explain that later. But now let's go back to this. So the passion was first. So we must first discover all this richness of us as a being. Like if you go to New York, with this passion and these inner abilities that you have, this caring for the world, you can apply that in any way you want to, actually, if you wanted to. But you want to get that specific one purpose that you want to appropriate your life to. So there's first your inner gifts, you, and your passion, and then there's this purpose, this thing that you want, the meaning that it will give you if you put it in a specific direction. So say, for instance, it's education. Let's use that as an example. So you want to make a social impact in education on some level. You still don't know what it is, and that's okay. But through the process that we take young people through, they discover all the possibilities of how they can create this social business. But that comes later in the process. And for us, it's not even about a business. For us, a business is a living organism, like anything else, like you and me, and the plants and the animals. So a business is a living organism. So is this thing that you want to put your passion towards. It's a living organism. So how do we make that organism become stronger? And how do we get other organisms that want to support us, that can help us? Instead of us need to go and ask for money from an investor to make a business run, which is about financials, like you say, all those type of things, marketing, all those type of things. Where if I work with my passion, my purpose, and the potential that I have, it's a 3 Ps, then I also discover how do I attract people to me that's similar than me, that wants to do different parts of the same thing. Maybe somebody wants to, if we take education again as an example, maybe somebody wants to teach people stuff to enrich their experience. And maybe somebody else likes to do the organization of all of this, to get the students there. Because we need, if I want to have a school, I need students in the old system now. So if I want to have students, somebody needs to help me to get them. So self-organizing them, to get the people to come and do this. But also, how do I share the story with the world that I want to do? How do I articulate my vision? So you see, for us, that's very different from learning how to run a business, because for us, that comes after. That once we have all these opportunities of how we can create a life for ourselves, what's the different possibilities out there? You were speaking about traveling, meeting different people, learning how different cultures live. Now, this is the part where we start, because I believe me, in South America, there's a lot of people just like you, young people just like you, have the same passions. Now imagine if you all come together, and same in North America, and Canada, and Greenland, and Europe, and Africa, New Zealand, and Australia. The world is an oyster. So imagine people, the same as yourself, come together now, who have similar passions and similar purposes. There's no struggling to get money, because there's peer support for each other. So if you need a graphic designer, there's a graphic designer in this organism, this ecosystem, that you can get that services from. And what does that do? It gives that person income. It gives them the externalizing of their value. And similar with you, you can externalize your value to them. And that organism starts growing. And it happens organically. It's not struggle. Like in this old world, you have to work hard for what you need to get. It doesn't need to be like that. There's other possibilities. So what is your experience in this world where your aspiration is to be an entrepreneur, a social entrepreneur? What is your challenges? What is your celebrations? Can you share some of that with us?
Okay. My challenges in Malaysia, for me, from a social entrepreneur perspective, I'm most probably dealing with Malaysian mindset, because just what you say just now, kids, they go to school, get good grades, become an employee, and work for the rest of their life, and then retire. But unfortunately, they never realize that in the next 10 years to 20 years, okay, you are facing a real problem. Whatever you're being taught in school was irrelevant, okay? And you need to unlearn yourself from what you have been taught in school. This is what happened to me, okay? Because I just realized that, okay, my law degree isn't that sufficient, okay? It was totally insufficient. So from my perspective, that Malaysian mindset have to do away with a typical traditional mindset, okay? But at the same time, Malaysian parents, okay, they need to understand one thing, that society is getting very complex because of globalization. In Malaysia, they don't really enjoy language, especially English, okay? If you don't teach kids English, okay, and you don't teach kids about diversity, they can't compete in the next 5 years to 10 years. And I spent like around 3 to 4 years why they should learn English, okay, but unfortunately, like, okay, the market for learning languages in Malaysia, okay, was totally a little bit slow to compare to other Southeast Asian nations, okay. At the same time, diversity just recently been implemented in Malaysian schooling syllabus, and unfortunately, the outcome was totally like, well, very bad, because kids in Malaysia, they just celebrate themselves. They don't really mix around, okay? And I think this is the legacy of racial segregation now in Malaysia, okay? So at the end of the day, we need to push it through very, very hard, okay? Just to force them to learn what is necessary for them in the next 10 years to 20 years. Okay, that's my challenge now.
You used the word challenge and force, and I just want to perhaps share a different perspective with you.
Okay.
And you must also remember it's out of my experience and out of my filters, my mental filters, and how I see the world and what's possible. So I'm sharing this with a lot of respect, because I believe we all have different perspectives, and if we can just tap in a little bit into each other's perspectives, we learn so much more. And from my experience in the business world, where I come from, we have seen that that old type systems doesn't work, where somebody goes to university or college, they go and work, they be employed for the rest of their life, and when they turn 40, they're very unhappy. Around about there, they get very unhappy, and then they suddenly ask what's the meaning and purpose of their lives. And we say that doesn't need to be like that. You don't have to wait till you're 40 to be unhappy, and to really question your own life. You can, when you are young, you can decide how you want to alter your life for the future. You are the author of your own life. And working with people with different mindsets, with different cultures, what I've experienced is the way we share the new perspectives with them. Last year, I had the opportunity to come from my planet to Japan, and I was speaking at an innovation conference in Tokyo, and most of the people in the conference were PhD students. So they are highly learned people, beautiful young people. And after my workshop, the people were quite, the young people were quite fascinated about what I was sharing about innovation and creativity. And they came to me as well, and they said to me, but how do they bring that into their lives? Because also from a cultural perspective, they are not allowed to bring in new ways of doing things necessarily, although they are so, and I said to them, but it doesn't, even from my perspective, it doesn't look like it, because look at all your innovations, all the technology that you bring into the world. You're quite advanced in that sense from the rest of the world. But they don't see it like that, you see, because it's not their experience. And then they also ask, but how do we introduce these new things? And you speak about mindsets, and that's, I think, one of the first things we have to look at from a human perspective, is that to change people's mindsets is the way we do trying to do it. And maybe I can just share how we've been doing it. Instead of trying to tell people this is a new way or another way to look at it, we put them through a little experience. So it's an experiment. They go through it themselves. We don't tell them anything, but it's very playful. And through that experience, they see, wow, themselves. But, well, there's another possibility here. There's not only this one way that we've been used to, that we've been conditioned to do. And you see, then there's less resistance because they go through it themselves. And it could be a 5-minute exercise. It could be a 10-minute exercise. It's not a day or a week or a year thing, you know, it's a quick thing. And they start to click it in from mental perspective and a physical and an emotional perspective. Because we work on all three levels. They feel safe, they feel secure. Because for us, we've learned that when we challenge somebody, look at my hands, what's happening. If I challenge you, this happens with, there's this conflict, there's resistance. But if you look at the word resistance in English now, there's re-I-stance. Re means again. I is me, the human. And stance is my posture, the way I show up in the world, the way I position myself. So what you're asking me to do is when there's resistance, I must change my position. So if you're going to tell me, but look that way, not that way, I might not want to do it. But if I go through a small little experience, and we're using creative ways to do it, then you yourself go through it and you see this other way. Not me telling you there's this other way. So there's less resistance. And something they feel in their bodies, because in the process we use the body as well. Oh, what does it feel like to see it that way? And then the body tells them, oh, but I actually feel good in this. I'm a little bit contracted in this old way. I want to feel more relaxed and more calm in my body. So all I'm saying, there's different ways for us to change people's mindsets and to introduce them to them. So I want to share a message of hope with you, that you don't have to struggle in your environment to help transform the environment and improve it and make it a better place, especially for these young people. And you see from our perspective as well, in our experience, one of the most difficult things from me myself, I've been through it many, many, many times. I can tell you I can show you all the scars, but how do we turn that scars into stars? By looking at things differently, by trying to do things in a different way, instead of giving up hope and struggling, because we're not here to struggle. We don't believe that. We've been given this beautiful planet to be living on, with all these beautiful resources, which we need to take care of. We're the custodians. But we can decide, we have this power inside of ourselves on how we want to do things. So don't give up. I'm just telling you, there's a lot more opportunities to do things in ways that people are not resistant. Because look at what happens with my hand if I'm not resistant. So here you are, you invite me in, you make it a safe place to come to. So just like when you call somebody with your hand like this, come here. It's safe to come here. It's like your mother's womb. It's safe to be in, it was safe to be in there before you came into the world. And now somebody else comes into it. The one comes into the other, the one holds the other. So when we invite people in, we give them a little experience. We're not telling them, oh, you're wrong. We just tell them there's a different way. But we don't even tell them that. We simply invite them to a little experience. It's really fun and playful. It's not a serious thing, but it's very meaningful and has a huge impact. We give them experience, they feel it themselves, they see it themselves, and suddenly their position in the world change. And then they begin to get curious. But, there must be something to this thing because it makes me feel good. Because we've also discovered everybody in the world wants to feel good no matter what they do. In the end, everybody wants to feel good about themselves. They want to be happy. They want to be joyful. And for us, it's a birthright. It's not even something you have to earn. It's your birthright to have that type of life. But Jiun Ting, tell me now, so how do you, with the struggle, just not struggling, but with your challenges, what do you do, or what support do you need to make it better for you that you don't have this resistance thing?
Okay, for me, just like what you say, I'm using different ways. I just told those kids and young teens about why they should learn English and equip yourself with other languages. because the world is very, very diverse and the world's getting very borderless. But then when you finish your secondary school and hop to the college or university, okay, you'll be seeing people that came from different backgrounds. And I'm talking about these people came from other nationalities, okay? And most probably for you to communicate with them, like, okay, it will be English, okay? And I just shared with them that my experience that I came along a Polish digital nomad, and he was totally, well, I can say he is multilingual, okay? And I told them that the only way for you, like, to go stand up from the class will be language acquiring a new one. Like for example, if you knew English, okay, you can learn another European languages like French, Dutch, or anything. As long as you acquire all these language skills, I'm sure, okay, you will achieve what you want to achieve in the first place. And they will be like, giving me those eyes are like, whoa, okay, well, we will try, okay. And these kids, they are just 12, okay. But for those young ones, okay, like 7 to 9, okay, it will be like, okay, just do it according to the flow, okay, don't force them. Just let them build up the foundational skills. That's what I'm doing now.
Oh, that's what you work with the children. So is your pressure from the parents, from society, that people don't want to change their mindsets, or is it from, because children usually is curious, aren't they? They want to, they would like,
Yeah.
they would like sponges. They will just take in whatever you tell them. They want to take in. So they're curious. So is your issue then with the support structure to get the society to think different?
Okay. In Malaysia, like, okay, things are always looked at linear, which means black and white, okay, right or wrong, okay. And all these kids, they came from a Chinese school, okay, because in Malaysia, like, okay, it's the only country outside of China still retain Chinese schooling system, okay. And for me, like, okay, I don't really follow the Chinese schooling system. I was sent to a private school where everything was in English, okay. And for me, like, okay, Chinese schooling system, they still lack of one thing, okay. To teach kids how to do things different, which means critically and creative. Maybe it is something to do with Malaysian very, very linear education system, okay, because of exam driven. And I think these kids, they are facing pressure from their parents just to do well, because Chinese family, okay, always look up to being a scholar, okay, because education is very, very valuable thing in Chinese culture, okay. At the same time, just to tell people that you are very successful, it will be on your paper qualifications, A's, 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 okay. And at the same time, school teachers are pushing them to, and they even pressure them, okay. And for them, this is the only way for you to do the right thing. But I just thought there are a lot of different ways for you to do the right thing. Nowadays, there are technology. You still can use technology like YouTube just to brush on your English. This is why I told a 13-year-old girl, okay? At the same time, you still can listen to podcasts if you love it, but Malaysian just love YouTube, so why don't you use YouTube just to learn, okay? And it was a little bit kind of challenging just to change the parents' in Malaysian mindset, okay? Because they just thought like, we don't really need English to survive. All you can do is just mother tongue, but it was wrong. You need to be trilingual or bilingual down in Malaysia, especially you have to acquire English, okay? And at the end I have to tell them why you need to pick up English skills, because these kids, they are going to college where textbook will be in English. If you don't, you will be facing a lot of problems.
So when we go back to you said you want to have a social business, a social entrepreneur. You're a social entrepreneur, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is it? Do you want to create a school for the young kids? When we use the word school, obviously we use it in a very loose way, but some place they can come to and learn. Or is it something you want to use technology to share with them, but you're currently doing it physically, one-on-one, isn't it? Or
Yeah.
yeah. So you're doing it in a tutor way. So this passion of yours to be a social entrepreneur, what exactly is it that you want to do?
Okay, my exactly wanted to do is like more like most probably first of all teach those kids like those like relevant skills, okay, just to prepare them from to a new type of economy because now we are transiting into a new type of economy, okay. And for me, like okay, two things that Malaysian kids they really need to language and they need to learn to accept diversity, which means cross-cultural education part of the
Mm.
school syllabus. But so far it is a little bit slow down here, okay, and I think we need to take another 10 to 20 years to implement unless there is an alternative because in Malaysia, unlike in the US or UK, they run something called alternative here. No.
So what ages of children do you prefer to work with?
Most probably those like kids they are already in their early teens to their college
Mm.
level, like 18 to 20, okay, all those, they are a lot easier because they want to know, okay, more, okay, what is the opportunity for them for the next 10 to 20 years.
And how many people, young people like that, do you tutor on a regular basis?
On a regular basis,
Currently, yeah, currently.
currently, okay, currently I'm tutoring those like those young ones, 7, okay, to 9, and then those
But how
those
many of them? But how many of them, more or less?
more or less most probably like around like 30 because
50,
it because
50,
no 30
30. But that's
30
fabulous. That's wonderful. Wow. You're making a huge
be-
impact.
because I was tutoring at a learning center in Malaysia, so the number is a little bit quite huge. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, but your dream now, let's go to your dream, to your passion. To so you were tutoring at the learning center. So, do you want
Yeah.
to? That's my question. Do you want your own learning center? Is that what you want to do?
If I want to create my own learning center, I think I will create online because
Mm-hmm.
nowadays young people they just love to learn everything from online as well as
Mm-hmm.
make it a little bit self-paced. Okay. And nowadays, you really need to personally like coaching them, okay, or mentoring them in the projects that they are doing, okay, and using online, okay, it will be much more better because you can reach to other people from other parts of Malaysia,
World
okay,
and the world.
especially yes, especially those rural areas in Malaysia.
Mm. And because you can,
Yeah.
that way you can, that's what the beauty of technology is, you can reach anybody, anywhere. So even kids in other places as well. Would you teach them English specifically, or would you teach them other skills as well?
Uh, well, I am an English teacher, so most probably I
In,
help them in their English language learning first, okay?
so it's from Chinese, from what languages is it in, from Chinese to English?
Yes, mostly from Chinese to English, okay?
Yeah, because it's all China as well, that
Because,
potentially, yeah, that you
yeah,
can teach English.
yes.
What language do they speak in Korea?
In Korea,
Yeah.
in Malaysia, okay, in Malaysia, we speak Malay, the national
Mm-hmm.
language of
Mm-hmm.
Malaysia, and then English will be the second, and
Mm-hmm.
mother tongue like Tamil, Chinese, Hindi, and other types of mother tongue, okay?
And I was asking about Korea if you're aware of what languages they use. Now I'm just looking at the world map and I'm looking at
Okay.
what your reach could be. You know, like you speak, especially if online, you can reach other countries where they also use Chinese as a language, where you can teach them English, for example. So I was just looking at broadening your perspective, your horizon, because with
Okay.
technology you can do that. We don't have to get to the answer now, but I think it's something you could also possibly investigate, because then you broaden your perspective. So tell me, in terms of creating this type of organism where you teach people all these beautiful things.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Sorry, we just had a little bit of a break there. Can you hear me still? Jiun Ting, can you still hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Sorry, we had a little bit of a break in the connection there.
Yeah.
Oh, but I'll fix it on the video, don't worry. So I'll just
Okay.
ask you again. What I'm trying to get to is to firstly show all the young people all over the world what's possible if we have a passion, and you're showing it clearly. You have a vision. You want to create this online learning environment. Have you done anything about that yet, or is it still something you're trying to work out how to do it?
Well, currently, this is something that I'm working out on it, okay? Because you can't do things on your own. You need to collaborate with someone, okay? So constantly, I met an African American from Las Vegas. He told me that he's willing to do something, but he doing it quite differently, okay? Well, I'll be providing those like content, and we'll be doing those podcasting about like personal development, entrepreneurship, and all sort of new technology. So I just thought, okay, why not? But speaking about my own online, unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to make it.
Because I think, and I might think very simplistic about it. For me, if I had somebody like you with me, and somebody wanted to do something like that, to have a little website where you can share your vision. It's like a 1 to 2 page website where you can publish your podcasts, where you through podcasting teach, and share. And it could be asynchronistic, where you record lessons, so to speak, and you just publish that. Then you can publish it on YouTube as well, everywhere. But you want to earn a living from it, so people they sign up for it, for a series of podcasts, for example, just to give you an idea. And another way, obviously, as well, is where you have interactive sessions. It's real time, and you invite young people in a real time session. And then obviously is how to get to these young people, how to make them aware. This is just one way I'm speaking about now. But you said you've got this other person that has this technology things available.
Yeah, because currently the person that I work with, okay, he is doing just that. So why not I just join him as part of his team, okay? Because what he's been doing is very similar to mine. So I just thought, okay, not too bad, just collaborate with him. So everything's going fine. Okay.
That's wonderful. You mentioned something important here, I think, that other young people must also hear. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We don't have to duplicate the wheel. We can, like with collaboration, and that's the beauty of technology these days. We can collaborate with people from all over the world in very different ways, and we don't have to do things on our own anymore. So in this way, we create a social business. We together, like with other people. He's got the technology part, and you become part of the team. That's wonderful. Now, Jiun Ting, if you had a message for the young people in the world today, what would that be?
My message for the young people, like, okay, can be very easy, okay? Follow your passion, because opportunity will be coming for you, okay? Just brush up the side of earning a huge profit, okay, because that doesn't really work. Because if you work for money, you are stressed, frustrated, depressive. So just brush your aside, follow a passion, opportunity will be coming in at the same time. Income will be coming in too, because passion comes first, okay, not the other way around, okay. And always non-stop picking up new skills, because we're living in a very complex society, okay. At the same time, you need to be very, very perseverance, okay. If you opt for being a social entrepreneur or whatever business that you come along, and always meet new people, because you don't know what might they bring up on the table to you. Just like met this man, okay, he is an ESL teacher, so it was totally a good opportunity, okay, and always have a strong mindset, because setback was a totally a blessing in disguise. That's my simple message to young people.
Well, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. And
You're
Jiun
welcome.
Ting, I want to ask you if it's possible that other young people, if at the end of the podcast we can leave your details for them, like your email address, if you're willing for them to contact you, if they want to connect with you in for whatever reason, are you comfortable with that?
Yes, no problem.
Okay, great. So we will put at the end of the podcast your details for them if they want to reach out to you to also connect with you. So Jiun Ting, thank you very much. I think our world needs a lot more people with passion like yourself, who want to make a change in the world, who don't want to follow the old ways and the conformity, and to really want to make the world a better place for everybody. So we thank you for being so brave and so courageous, and for
Welcome.
continuing all the time, and to reach out to other people, and to want to do the things that you want to do. And I'm sure you'll be able to travel and read more and learn more and meet more amazing people across the globe. So thank you for that.
Yeah,
Is there any last words you have for the world today?
my last word for the world today will be like, be a little bit humanitarian, okay, because that's where people feel safe, okay. Welcome those people that really need some help, okay, because we really need to become giver, not taker, okay.
Oh, that's beautiful. I like that. I really like that. Because when we give, we also receive so much more. And we on my planet, we use the word sharing. Because with giving, it means somebody loses something is taken away from them. But with sharing is, I've got so much and I'm sharing it on, because I continuously receive. So thank you very much, everybody, for being with us today. And please reach out to Jiun. She's got lots of wisdom to share. And we wish you very well in your area and your region, and with all your dreams, that it can come true. And never give up. Never give up. Thank you, everybody.